guys, I am super excited to dive into this palette here. I am going to start off with this shade right here in my crease. So I'm gonna kind of pat this on, starting on about the outer third of the lid, and then I'm gonna pull it up into the crease, and then we're gonna blend it into the transition, and it's going to be gorgeous. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of this shade, just a little bit, and just work on blending the edges of this shadow, soften things, all that good stuff, create more of a gradient. I don't know if this blue will show up at all if I put a little bit in the crease, but I'm gonna try. Let's see if it'll show up in the front part of the transition. Just for a little something, use the shades, you know, different shades a little more. And if you didn't guess already, we're going in with this baby right here. This is Magenta Dreams from Sydney Grace. The only thing I would say that I feel like is missing out of this palette, and this is, you know, of course, no shade to Hannah, is just a little bit of depth, something to deepen up with. So we'll see how I feel. I may or may not pull out a shade from the rest of my singles. Going in with the phalange. This is such a pretty color. I would say it's definitely kind of a duochrome. It's purple, but it has like a really beautiful like periwinkle blue shift. I'm all about it. All about that. And then I think I want to go in with this shade, which is called Mystery from Sydney Grace. It's definitely a duochrome, and it's kind of hard to see until you get it on the eyeball. It's such a pretty duochrome. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna use here is this shade from Sydney Grace. This is the shade Midnight Amethyst. And I just want to use the tiniest amount of this on the outer corner just to add a little depth to my eyes. And where I want the depth is kind of right on the outer corner slash outer V, and kind of coming along the upper lash line. So I'm taking whatever's left on the brush and just kind of running that on the lower lash line, just for a tiny bit of definition. I think I'm gonna use this shade Mystery that I put on the inner part of the lid. I'm gonna use it all by itself as an inner corner highlight. I feel like it really comes off a little more pink than anything, but I think that's pretty. All right, so I'm gonna pop off of here now and do some liner and mascara, a lip, the hair, and I will come back and we will see the final look. All right, we are back. This is the completed look. I like this look, but I feel like something is missing from my face, from the look. I'm not for sure. Let me know what you think. I did apply my brown Wet n Wild eyeliner. I also applied the L'Oreal Air Volume Mega Mascara. For lips, I did line with the My Lips But Better shade from MAC. This is Whirl. And then I just applied a little bit of the e.l.f. lip lacquer in the shade Clear. And other than that, you know, that's how this look came together. Like I said, I like the look, but I just feel like something is missing. So let me know what you think and stay tuned because I have another look coming up for you right now. Welcome to the second look. I think I'm gonna take this shade right here into my transition. This is one of those sort of sequin shades, if you will. It's pretty much matte, comes off matte on the eye and everything, but there is some micro shimmer in here. All right, next I'm going into the brown shade. Like I said, this is the shade Tiki Shed from Beauty Junkees. I'm gonna start this on the outer corner of my eye. This is going to be the depth for this look. And then I'm going to bring it up into the crease as I have less product on the brush. And then before I catch the other eye up to speed, I'm gonna take a little smudger brush right here. It's just a flat, short bristle brush. And I'm gonna run the same shade on the lower lash line. All right, now I'm gonna really pack on this yellow shade on the inner 2/3 of the lid. I believe Hannah called this shade an orange when she made this palette for me, and the only reason I'm mentioning it is I always think it's so interesting how some people would call one shade one thing and other people would call another shade, you know, call it another shade. I just think that's so interesting when I watch people's video and they'll be like, oh, this green right here. And I'm like, I wouldn't call that green. I wouldn't even call it blue. Personally, I would call it turquoise or something like that. It's so interesting to me that people, you know, that we wouldn't all call the colors the same thing. I feel like it's really that our eyes see the colors differently. Now for the star of the show, it is this shade right here, which is called Tempest from Sydney Grace. And I'm definitely going in with the phalange. I wonder if it is having that effect that I was hoping for, which is for this to come off a little more yellow. Yeah, I think maybe it is. I feel like I'm gonna go ahead and use a highlighter for the inner part of the lid. One of the highlighters that I am working on panning right now is my Becca Opal highlighter, and hopefully that gives me the look that I'm looking for. All right, that definitely didn't have quite the effect that I wanted, so I'm gonna go in with the other highlighter I'm panning, which is the Laura Mercier Matte Radiance Baked Highlighter, Baked Powder in the shade 01 Highlight. I'm going to apply that on top. I'm gonna go ahead and pop off of here, do some liner and mascara, a lip, the hair, and then we will come back and I will show you the completed look and tell you how I finished it off. All right, we're back, me and my puffy sleeves, and this is the completed look. I finished off the eyes with my brown Wet n Wild eyeliner and the e.l.f. Lash It Loud mascara. For lips, I lined with my Milani Understatement lip liner in the shade Nude Entrance. And then for lipstick, this is a little tiny little bit left of this Tom Ford lip color in the shade Indian Rose. Patted that out and topped that off with the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in the shade Moon. And this is it. So let me know down below what you think of the second look, and stay tuned because there is a third look coming right your way. And welcome to the third look. I want to use this shade today. I believe this is Blondie. Yeah, Blondie from Sydney Grace. Just a really beautiful pinky lid shade. And you know, I think we're gonna keep it pretty simple, pretty neutral. I'm gonna start things off in the crease today versus with a transition, and I'm gonna use this shade that we used yesterday in the green look. This is Tiki Shed by Beauty Junkees. So I'm gonna kind of start this off on the outer V of the lid, and then I'm gonna bring it up into the crease, and then I think we'll blend it out with this light pinky shade. I feel like there's so many more looks that I could create for you guys out of this palette. So we'll see. We'll see how much more I use it this month after this video, because I do have the rest of my single shadows in my Shop My Stash for the month. And before we swap over to that pink, I'm going to take a pencil brush. This one happens to be from Sonia Kashuk. Pick up that same Tiki Shed shade and run this along the lower lash line. I feel like this is just like a perfect shade for me. I'm really into this particular brown. So next I'm gonna go into this shade right here, like I said, and this is the shade Cosmetic Peach. And I'm just taking this to sort of soften the brown. I'm gonna place it right over the edge of the brown and just sort of blend it just to soften things up. This is kind of very close to my skin tone, So it's more of a blending shade for me with just a hint of a peachy pink. And I'm gonna take that same pencil brush and get in there with that same shade and just kind of start on the inner part and blend out the Tiki Shed shade that we have on the lower lash line. All right, so we're going in with the shade Blondie from Sydney Grace. Picking that up on sort of a pinched fluffy brush and just applying it from about the halfway point of the lid all the way into the inner corner. Oh, she's so pretty. And I like this shade because it's pink, but it has a little bit of a warmth to it. It's not too icy or anything crazy. I want to try my phalange with this one and just lightly punch things up along the lash line and like mobile lid with this shade. I don't want to go too textured, but I do like the lid to be pretty bright. I think I'm gonna go with Becca Opal. I'm working on panning this in my 21 pans in 2021. And I'm gonna use that same pencil brush, just wiping it off in between the different colors, and add this to the inner corner. I actually think that's a perfect shade for that. That's a wrap. I'm going to pop off of here, do some liner and mascara, a lip, the hair, and I will come back and show you the completed look and give you some brief thoughts about this little palette that my daughter created for me. All right, we are back. I don't know about my hair, but I do know I love this look. I finished off the eyes with my Wet n Wild brown eyeliner and my Pixie Eye Bright liner in nude in the waterline. And then I used my Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extension Mascara in the shade Bryn, which is black. For lips, I used my Milani Understatement Lip Liner in the shade Nude Entrance. For lipstick, I used my Tom Ford lip color in Indian Rose. And then I topped all of that off with the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in the shade Pearl. So this is the completed look. I really, really like this look. I love this little palette that Hannah put together for me. If I had to name it, it would be like Easter Sunday. It just looks like an Easter egg, Easter palette to me, and I really love that. I've had fun playing with it. If I had to pick a favorite look, it was definitely the look where I used the purple and the blue. I just really loved how that came out. I loved the addition of this little duochrome number from Sydney Grace called Mystery. Yeah, there you can see it pretty well. That was really fun, and I like it. I'm keeping it put together. I'll give you more thoughts or show you all the looks if I create more with this at the end of the month in my April month in review. But I had a lot of fun with that palette. I hope you guys enjoyed the looks that came out of it. Thank you so much for watching today. I appreciate your time as always, and I hope all of your makeup days are absolutely beautiful makeup days, and I'll see you in my next video real soon.